Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a January transfer move to Arsenal. Starting to come down now after that great win over Manchester United. It was just a great feeling yesterday to just be basking in that win because, and the reason why we overdid it so much is that we ain't had a win for ages. So it was just so good to get that win and, almost like see Arsenal turning a corner, starting off the year with a massive win over Manchester United. However, there was some bad news coming out of Arsenal yesterday, and that was about Calum Chambers. Calum Chambers, of course, who sustained an injury in that Chelsea game. He's been playing well this season, has done very well. I think out of all the players that have been playing this season, he's one of the few players that could probably hold their hands up and say, hold their head up, should I say, and say, I've been doing all right. And he went off injured in that game against Chelsea, and the news came out officially from Arsenal yesterday that it was a bad injury, a cruciate ligament injury, was going to keep him out for 6 to 9 months. So a massive blow for Chambers. Really feel sorry for him. Just starting to establish himself in the first team after various loan moves, etc. And now he's, effectively he's out for the season. It's going to be a big miss for Arsenal because he's been filling in very well. You remember he was filling in at right back, did very well there. At centre back was doing well. And yes, he is out for the season, which means now that Arsenal 100% have to go into the transfer market and try and sign a centre back. We needed a centre back anyway, even without this injury, I thought. But now with this injury, Arteta's already said, I've got to get myself a centre back. Now, who will that centre back be? Arsenal being linked very heavily with several centre backs. Nathan Ake is one of those. Nathan Ake, of course, who currently plays for Bournemouth. He's had his injury problems as well. Dutch international, only 21. Now, you remember that he was originally at Chelsea, joined Chelsea, I think it was joined Bournemouth from Chelsea in 2017. And he's really blossomed since he's gone to Bournemouth. Has become a real commanding centre-back, really does look the part. And now there's a whole host of clubs queuing up to try and get his signature. And of course, Bournemouth really struggling at the moment, currently in the bottom three in the Premier League. So Nathan Ake is going to be looking to his future. Now, Chelsea apparently have a £40 million buyback clause. That's what the rumour says. And no doubt Chelsea, who also have their defensive problems, may be keen to bring him back. There's also rumoured to be a release clause in Nathan Ake's contract that says Bournemouth will sell him for £50 million. But however, the talk is that only comes into effect in the summer, so at the end of the season. So that means if Arsenal were to try and get Ake now, they may have to pay more than the £50 million. I mean, there's been talk ranking him all the way up to about £70 million. No matter how much it is, it's going to be very high. Centre-backs, all of a sudden, I remember back in the day, centre-backs were quite cheap. They have now become some of the most expensive players because it's just so hard to get a very, very good one. And as I said, Chelsea are interested, Spurs are interested. And of course, Bournemouth really struggling at the moment. They'll be keen to hold on to him as well. So to get a deal like Nathan Ake done is going to be very, very difficult indeed. But he would be a good addition if Arsenal were to make that move for him. But we have to wait and see how that one pans out throughout January. But Nathan Ake being linked. Now, we've also linked today with a centre-back who currently plies his trade at Juventus. His name is Demerol. He's a Turkish international, only 21 as well, so young, and as I said, a centre-back. He only joined Juventus from Sassuolo for £15.3 million in the summer, so he hasn't been there long, but he's had limited opportunities under Maurizio Sarri, formerly of Chelsea, and that's why a lot of people are linking him with a move away. Juventus said to have named their price of around about £40 million is what they would want if they were to consider letting him leave. I mean, he's been getting some first team football recently, but it said that Juventus, who are some of the best, probably one of the best clubs when it comes to being in the transfer market, they're very shrewd with their buys, may be willing to let him go for around about £40 million plus, which again, very expensive. He's, as I said, he's very highly rated, but not super proven yet. And will Arsenal make a move for him? That is another one we're going to have to keep an eye on. Of course, there's Daya Upamecano, who we've been talking about since Transfer Daily started this January, heavily linked with Arsenal. Again, another defender, centre-back who's only 21. I think he's just turned 21. IB Leipzig, French international already. Leipzig, however, I mean, it depends what camp you're in. Some people are saying that Leipzig are saying that he's not for sale no matter what the price this January. There are also other people saying actually they would sell him if they got a ridiculous offer, round about the price of 75 to 80 million pounds. He does only have 18 months left on his contract. So Leipzig will be fully aware that, you know, he could then, if they don't sell him now and he doesn't sign a new contract, he could go for, you know, way cheaper in the summer. I mean, you know, that 1 year left on his contract, they're going to be talking about 30 million. So they'd lose a lot of money if they didn't sell him right now. But Leipzig, as I've said on previous shows, are doing very well at the moment in the Bundesliga, top of the Bundesliga, still in the Champions League and looking really good under their manager. And they may be reluctant to sell. So again, I mean, I'm repeating myself, we're going to have to keep an eye and see what happens with that one this January. But it does look unlikely. The noises coming out of Leipzig is that they do not want to sell at any cost this January. Could Arsenal switch their attentions to another Bundesliga club, and that is Bayern Munich, and go in for Jerome Boateng? Now, Boateng, of course, World Cup winner, plays for Bayern Munich. He's 31 now. He's been around for a long time. Very long time. I mean, he burst onto the scene very, very young. Reports coming out of Germany are that Arsenal have been negotiating a deal to bring Boateng into Arsenal. As I said, he's done it all. He's won multiple league titles. He's a very, very experienced player. And the fee would be round about 12 to 13 million pounds, which wouldn't be too much and would act as good cover for somebody like Calum Chambers that's going to be out for a while. Excuse me, getting the coughs. However, I don't know. Jerome Boateng, to me, I look on it and I say to myself, another one of these sort of older strikers on the decline. Every time I've seen him recently, he's not impressed me. He's not the Jerome Boateng of old, you know what I mean? And makes a lot of mistakes. All right, I know, very experienced player, but we've already got David Luiz, we've already got Socrates of that sort of age. Do we need another player like Jerome Boateng to come into the team? Another defender who's over 30? Or do you look on it and say, well, listen, experienced guy will come in, add a bit of leadership qualities to the dressing room, winning mentality, etc., etc. I don't know. It'd be very interesting to see what's going to go on with this one. But Jerome Boateng is being heavily linked with a move to Arsenal. And I'm sure Bayern Munich would be more than willing to sell him at the moment. There's a youngster who plays for Carlisle that's catching the eye of Arsenal at the moment. His name is Jarrod Braithwaite. He's only 17. And as I said, he plays for League Two Carlisle. Lots and lots of clubs have been scouting this guy. He's a centre-back, really got an imposing figure, 6'4" he is, and he's been getting rave reviews down there in League Two. Of course, everyone's going to look at it and say, well, it's only League Two, but he's doing the business down there, and was said to only cost around about £1 million. Now, there's a whole host of clubs interested in him. Everton said to be very interested in him. The two giants from Glasgow, Celtic and Rangers, also very interested in him. But let's keep an eye on that one. Jarrod Braithwaite from Carlisle. The Thomas Lemar rumours are still flying around. We spoke about this one a couple of days ago. Thomas Lemar, previously of Monaco, then he went on to Atletico Madrid. It hasn't worked for him there at all, the 24-year-old. Remember, Arsenal famously bid £90 million for him, but it fell through. It looks like we may have dodged a bullet at that time to pay that sort of fee. However, lots of talk that Arsenal's are interested. Georgia Mendes, who did a couple of deals for Arsenal in the summer, the super agent is apparently negotiating the deal. A lot of people are saying Spurs are also said to be interested in him as well. As I said a couple of days ago, we don't need, a Thomas Lemar right now anyway. We need centre-backs. We need players in defensive positions. We've got injuries in those defensive positions. That's where we need the players, in my opinion, not in those forward positions. We've got enough there at the moment, as far as I'm concerned. And then, of course, there's Adrian Rabiot, still being linked with Arsenal. I said to you a couple of days ago that Juventus not really willing to sell him, but he has had limited playing time since he's been at Juventus. And now rumours are coming out of Italy that Juventus may be open to selling him for around about £25 million. That's only a rumour, by the way. That's not a definite, but that's the rumour. Now, as we know, Granit Xhaka, his future is uncertain. Mikel Arteta coming out yesterday and saying that he wants to keep Xhaka, does not want to sell him. However, we don't know what Xhaka feels yet. Will Xhaka go to Hertha Berlin this month? If he does, we're definitely going to need to replace him as well. And Adrian Rabiot would be a perfect replacement. And for around about £25 million, that's all right. I mean, of course, again, Juventus, very shrewd. I think they paid next to what he got him for nothing. So very shrewd again by Juventus. They make a profit. But again, it's only rumours at this stage. And that's what you get at this time, especially early in January. Lots of rumours. But I think the one thing we can be certain of, Arsenal are going to get 1 to 2 players in this January transfer windows, and I think it's definitely looking like they're going to get a centre-back. But who will that centre-back be? Would really love to hear from you guys. Who do you think Arsenal should be going for in that centre-back position? Leave it in the comments below. I really like to hear from you guys who you think would be the perfect person to come in now that Calum Chambers is out. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out all of our excellent content. We've got Leeds, of course, coming up on Monday. So we're going to be doing a preview to that. So check out all of our excellent content over the weekend. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back tomorrow.